The recent anti-Semitism campaign and undermining of the Labour members who were banned from voting for often very spurious reasons has left many people baffled and disillusioned with what is going on in the party. Jeremy Corbyn has been undermined by the media in what can only be described as an onslaught of calculated negative propaganda. The anti-Semitism claims were a major distraction, and the debacle with Ken Livingstone being kicked out after merely citing historical fact was an outrage. This alone was disturbing enough, but the constant claims of anti-Semitism verged on pure comedy. The Israeli lobbyist and provocateur Ruth Smeeth proved that even if claims are contrived, transparent and utterly ridiculous, they still have the effect of undermining Mr Corbyn and distracting the party away from what it should be doing. Labour Party members see Momentum as an umbrella organisation for unity within the party. But is there another agenda? Momentum is run by John Landsman, a Zionist who wishes to redefine Zionism. His blog Left Futures even suggests training people into this new agenda. Landsman owns Momentum through his companies. The information about these companies and the relationship with Landsman's companies and Momentum needs to be clarified for the Labour membership. This show will reveal information about Momentum and those who may be controlling the narrative. Let's first go into what Momentum's company director says about redefining Zionism on his Left Futures blog, which is owned by his company Left Futures. This is from Mr Landsman's blog. Abandoning use of the term Zionist will not be enough on its own. There needs to be clarity, guidance and even training about what is appropriate. So this guy is saying that you're going to have to undergo training to actually state what is meant by Zionism. So please just stick with this as I read out the entries and name changes on Companies House. This is essential, as how these companies tie into Momentum and Left Futures Limited will come as quite a surprise. So let's look at Momentum, the company and its name changes. First we have Jeremy Corbyn Campaign 2015 Supporters Limited from 24th of June 2015 to 23rd of October 2015. The name was then changed to Momentum Campaign Limited from 23rd of October 2015 to the 18th of July 2016. Then on the 18th of July 2016 we have another name change to Jeremy for Labour Limited. The company had two directors, John Landsman and Simon Fletcher. Its stated objectives were to act as employer and undertake various administrative functions in the course of Jeremy Corbyn's leadership campaign. We looked at John Landsman's Wikipedia page for an explanation, but found no mention of the name changes. So, a contributor to Windows on the World made an edit, which simply stated the change, the date on which it had occurred, and cited Companies House as the reference. After a few minutes, the edit had been removed, so it was edited again, and then, within minutes, once again removed. There is also another company in existence created by John Landsman named New Hope for Labour Data Holdings Limited. Its stated purpose is to hold data collected for use in campaigning on behalf of individual Labour Party members. It is stated to be active, but on the 26th of October 2016, an application was listed by Gerald Edelman Accountants to strike the company off the register. Another company registered to John Landsman is Left Futures Limited. Its principal activity is described as other business support activities. 100 shares were issued for Left Futures and 75 of them are held by Autonovo Holdings Limited. Now Autonovo Holdings Limited has John Landsman as a director, Benjamin Isaac Wagstaff Landsman as a director, Molly Fagel Wagstaff Landsman, and Max Wagstaff Landsman and Kyla Harris, all as directors. Now this is from the Times. A key ally of Jeremy Corbyn has been accused of hypocrisy after he was linked to a property company used for tax avoidance and asset stripping. John Landsman, a left-wing activist, created the Momentum Group to support Mr Corbyn after his successful campaign for the Labour Party leadership. It is made up of tens of thousands of Corbyn backers and is understood to be planning talks on joining the Labour Party. He also runs Left Futures, a website that rejects the market fundamentalism of Tory and Labour governments from Thatcher to Blair to Brown. The website shares offices in Soho, with Foundation Property and Capital, a development company founded by Mr. Landsman's brother Stephen. FPC, which describes itself as unashamedly opportunistic, buys buildings such as pubs and homeless hostels, which in some cases has seen businesses close in the face of public protest. It also offers tax efficiency opportunities for the rich, including the ability to create substantial capital allowances, which, in the case of one investment, should shelter income tax for the first 2 years of investment. FPC employs Mr. Landsman's son Ben as a director. He is also a director and shareholder in Autonovo Holdings, which owns 100% of Left Futures. John Landsman said last night that his son has nothing whatsoever to do with the management or operation of Left Futures. FPC advised on the sale of a homeless hostel in Victoria, London to Land Securities for £22.5 million. Westminster's housing officials said the hostel had considerable success in working with rough sleepers, and its closure resulted in a gap in service provision, with the loss of 170 beds. Stephen Landsman said that the FPC had helped the charity owner to secure the best value. Accounts filed by FPC reveal it gave a charge over assets in favour of Foundation Property and Capital based in the tax haven of Luxembourg. Stephen Landsman said that it was a special purpose lending vehicle, ultimately owned by a French bank. Foundation has no offshore companies, no assets offshore and no capital offshore, he said. It says here, yes, this is good. Left Futures are tax letterbox companies that are used to route profits through countries such as the Netherlands and Luxembourg to take advantage of favourable tax treaties. So the company that owns Left Futures is doing exactly what he's against. And of course, there's lots of talk of champagne or Shiraz socialists on this Left Futures blog. One London Labour MP told the Sunday Telegraph, while preaching hard left righteousness, he is tied in with a company that appears to profit from asset stripping of community facilities such as pubs and homeless hostels. It's hypocritical, to say the least. Denying the charge of hypocrisy, John Landsman told the newspaper that he supported his brother and son. FPC is an entirely ethical company. I have absolute confidence in that. Neither my brother or my son have anything to do with any of my political activities. Well, you can draw your own conclusions from the information given there. Now, that was an article in The Spectator, and it does refer to Autonovo Holdings as a shady company. Now, if you look at the last sentence in this Times article, which I also quoted from, it says, neither my brother or my son have anything to do with any of my political activities. That is clearly untrue when Ben Landsman is a director of Autonovo, which owns Left Futures. Now, if there's this control going on within Momentum about Labour Party members, which we saw when we found all of these people who tried to join the Labour Party were being kicked off for comments they'd made on Facebook or being members of the Green Party. And this also affected Steve Headley, Senior Assistant General Secretary of the RMT Union, which is Britain's largest specialist transport union. And Steve was elected to serve as Senior Assistant General Secretary for the period of office from August the 12th, 2012 to August 11th, 2017. We've had Steve on the show many times, and he's a real activist for people in this country who are suffering at the hands of corporatism, and so should be embraced in every way by the Labour Party and obviously Jeremy Corbyn. Now, Steve was banned from the Labour Party among thousands and thousands of others before Corbyn was re-elected. So there's a way here that the Blairites are controlling the narrative, or people within the Labour Party or within Momentum are controlling the narrative. Now, I'm just going to read out what his letter said. There was many of these put on Facebook. People were so enraged by what had happened that they were being shut down and stopped from voting for a party that they joined, that they were so incensed they put it all over the internet. Now, Steve's letter from Labour says, Dear Steve, notice of administrative suspension from holding office or representing the Labour Party. The procedural rules governing the current leadership election state, it quotes, "No abuse of any kind by members or supporters shall be tolerated. All eligible members and supporters must conduct themselves in a calm and polite manner and be respectful to each other at all times. Any racist, abusive or foul language or behaviour at meetings, on social media or in any other context will be dealt with according to the rules and procedures of the Labour Party." It goes on. Allegations that you may have been involved in a breach of that rule have been brought to the attention of Labour Party's National Executive Committee. The allegations relate to comments you have made on social media, including on the 17th and 21st of August 2016. It is important that these allegations are investigated, and the NEC will be asked to authorise a full report to be drawn up with recommendations for disciplinary action if appropriate. In the meantime, I give you formal notice that it has been determined that the powers given to the NEC under 6.1.1a of the party's rules should be invoked to suspend you from office or representation of the party pending the outcome of an internal party investigation. Now, this happened to many, many thousands of people. Well, I think the only way forward would be for Jeremy Corbyn to be in charge of Momentum, because obviously there's other interests who are trying to control the narrative here. In the next episode, which you'll find on Windows on the World.net, we're going to go into Labour's Zionist agents.